Hello everybody, it's me, Mr. Proft, coming to you from my guest room here in my house in sunny Santa Monica, California. This is the room where I do most of my recording these days. It used to be the room where when we had guests come over, if we had relatives or friends visiting from out of town, they would stay here in this room, but not a lot of visiting going on. But it gives me nice little space to be able to talk to you and film my videos from, so that's working out really nice. Today, you can see me, so we don't need any of my special friends. Remember we met this adorable penguin yesterday, but you can see me now, so we don't need to bring any of my special friends. We have a couple things that we're gonna be doing today. The very first thing is you're gonna listen to a story. Listen to a story. So I'm going to be reading you a story. After that, you're going to answer some questions. Answer questions about that story. Then we're going to practice our scoop words. And then you won't do this with me. You'll do this with your learning buddy. But I have a story. You're going to read a story to your learning buddy. It's going to be a little simple, decodable version of the story that I'm reading to you right now. And the story that I'm reading to you right now is called The Mop is a Dog. The Mop is a Dog. This doesn't have any pictures, so you're going to have to use your imagination to think about in your head what I'm saying. Pay attention to what's happening in the story. And at the very end, I'm going to be asking you some questions, and you're going to tell your learning buddy, wherever they are, you're going to tell your learning buddy the answer. Okay, so I'm going to start reading. I'm going to use my finger. I'm going to point to each word as I read it. That we're meeting again those two characters that we met, Josh and Chip. Remember, Josh was the rat and Chip is the cat. Last time, I think they were playing with some gum they found in the school bus, which doesn't sound very sanitary. But today, they're off on another adventure, and it involves a dog. All right. Me, red leather, yellow leather. Okay. Josh and Chip are hanging out next to the movie theater trash can, hoping for some leftover popcorn. Just when they are about to give up and move on to a different spot, Chip sees something strange. Hey, why is that girl pushing a mop along the sidewalk? She should probably use a broom instead. Wait, that's not a mop, that's a dog, says Chip. Josh is frozen with fear. Rats are usually more scared of cats than dogs, but Josh is different. Josh escaped from a nipping teacup poodle when he was just a baby rat. He's been terrified of dogs, especially tiny furball dogs like this one, ever since. How can you be afraid of a fluffy little mop like that? Chip teases Josh. The girl sees her friend and stops. She wants to show the tricks that her dog can do. The girl pulls a treat from her pocket. The dog's tail begins to wag. The girl says, "Sit," and the dog sits obediently. Then the dog starts sniffing around. She spots Chip and Josh. She yips and yaps loudly, barking as she tries to pull away from her owner. Josh is no longer frozen. He scurries under the trash can to safety. Chip's back bristles and arches as he hops behind the trash can to escape. I guess I'm not the only one afraid of a fluffy little mop, Josh says to Chip as they hide together. So that was kind of fun. There we go. So our two pals, Josh and Chip, are up to it again. Let me ask you some questions. I got my questions right here on my question paper. I can't hear the answers. You can shout as loud as you want, but I won't be able to hear them all the way here in sunny Santa Monica, California. But you can tell your learning buddy. So I want you to think about the story. Think back to the beginning of the story. Why are Josh and Chip hanging out by a trash can? What are they doing there? So tell your buddy. Okay, so they were hanging out by the trash can because they were hoping for to find some leftover popcorn from the movie theater. Why is Josh so afraid of the dog? At the beginning of the story, they see a little mop. A dog looks like a mop, I guess, because he has a lot of hair. Very furry, fuzzy dog. And Josh is really afraid of the dog. Why was he afraid of the dog? Let me give you a hint. It's because of something that happened to him long ago. So he was afraid of the dog because he escaped from a nipping teacup poodle when he was a baby rat. I don't know if you've heard the phrase teacup poodle before. The idea is it's a dog that's so tiny, it looks like he could fit inside a cup. They really can't, but they call them teacup poodles because they're very tiny and kind of fancy. Okay, so the story, the camera is there, so I need to look there, not over here. You're like, why is Mr. Prof not looking at me? The camera's over there. The story says that Josh was frozen with fear. What does that mean? What is frozen, when we talk about it that way, what does frozen with fear mean? So he wasn't really frozen. He wasn't like so cold he turned to ice. Frozen with fear means he was so scared he couldn't move. He was like, "Ugh." I'm not really frozen. I'm not really all turning to ice, but I'm just too scared to move. So that's what frozen with fear means. So the story says, Chip's back bristles when he was trying to escape from the barking dog. What do you think the word bristles means? It means that his back, it stood up straight and stiff, kind of like a brush. A brush has the little fibers that are really straight on it like that. So his back went, he was like that. He was bristling. He was standing up stiff and straight. Here's the last one. Last question for you to ask your learning buddy. How does Josh know that Chip is afraid of the dog? Josh is afraid of the dog because of what happened to him when he was a baby rat. But how does Josh know that Chip was scared too? When the dog starts barking, how does Josh know that Chip is afraid? I think they're telling the learning buddy. Yes, they're telling their learning buddy right now. Josh knows that Chip was afraid of the dog because Chip jumped up and ran behind the trash can as soon as the dog started barking. So that's how he knew. So there you go. If you answered all of those questions, give yourself a huge pat on the back. If you answered some of those questions, give yourself also a huge pat on the back. And if you just tried your best, you can go ahead and pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time. So we had some things on our agenda. We read the story. We answered some questions about the story. So before I leave you, it's time for us to go ahead and practice our scoop words. So your learning buddy should have sat with you and helped you make some flashcards. All right. So you should be able to just whip through these super duper quick. I'm going to show you the word, and you're going to say the word, and then I'm going to pause for a second, and I'm going to say the word just so you know that you were right. All right, the first word is up. The next word is has. The next one, or. The next one, for. I, remember the letter I all by itself is a word. To. It. Was. Is. His. Do. See. Like. She. Can. A. Again, just like I, the letter A all by itself is a word. You. He. Last one. The. And do you remember this one? I start my videos with this. Hello. All right. So good job. On the next slide, after this one, is a short little book that I would like you to go ahead and read to your learning buddy. It's sort of a short version of the story I read, and it has pictures in it too. All right, thank you. You've done an amazing job on behalf of myself, Miss Dano, and my penguin friend who I think I've dropped on the floor. Did an amazing job today. Keep moving forward.